Hello folks, and welcome back to another session of Legacy of Kain Defiance Bug Hunting Expedition. Today is Sunday the 26th of December and it's 4:04 p.m. and I wanted to kind of clarify something. So in my infinite wisdom and my compulsive obsession to be really accurate when it comes to these bugs, I realized that I made a mistake in my previous video. And what I had discovered was that the checkpoint itself, the actual icon, is of no consequence. The checkpoint is that position at that point in the game. So what I'd realized later was that I thought it was to do with me stepping on the checkpoint. The checkpoint is just the area at which you're at that point in time. It's not to do with the checkpoint itself. So even if you step on it or you don't, that checkpoint is still recorded. And so what I'd realized was that it was because, and if you'd noticed, I actually saved the game. So the first time I did it, I saved the game and then I reloaded. Now, whether you load from the checkpoint or you load from the save game, the Heart of Darkness remains. If you only load from the checkpoint, then it doesn't work. So it's specifically to do with the continue game, not load game. And it's only because you triggered it by using save game. I know that's a really weird thing. Let me demonstrate. So for simplicity's sake, I removed all the saves and just left one. And this is the one without the gargoyle spear. I'm going to try and be quick because obviously I want to get through this relatively quickly and painlessly so that I can actually show you. Unfortunately, I have to fight, the battles twice. Great. Sometimes, due to the nature of stuck there. Due to the nature of having a wide screen and the telekinetic icon being so tiny, it's very difficult to actually see where it is. There we go. That's quite simple. I tried to confuse him by going behind him. He just turns around. Doesn't seem to make a difference whether you go through him or not. Oh, come on. There we go. It may not trigger off the gongs just yet. I think I have to hit him at least one more time. See the icon. As long as he's got enough health. Enough health. Again with the 0 health and still not dead. that's done. Let's get out of here. One thing I did try earlier actually, which was during the fight between Raziel and Kain, I did something cheeky. I actually tried to go into the spectral realm to see if I could actually kill the Sluar and actually get some more health. Of course, it doesn't work, unsurprisingly. But that's good because obviously you could cheat if you could get more health, which you don't want to have happen. But having said that, Raziel and Kain are not easy to beat when you fight essentially against the CPU. So none of that connected at all. Come on, Kain. Get up now. One hit. Just one hit.
Now.
I think it's far more forgiving when you play as Raziel than when you do as Kain. Kain is just brutal. Come on, Raziel, get out of there. Alright, now in this particular instance I am not going to go near the checkpoint just to prove my point. So I'm going to quit the game, continue the game, and you should find that the Heart of Darkness isn't actually there. It's not there. So it's nothing to do with standing on the checkpoint. So if I go back, load the game again, this is the only one I have. So remember that time frame, that time snap. 7 hours and I think it's 26 seconds. Because what we'll be doing is we'll be saving after the defeat with Chiral. Well, Raziel and Kain and Chiral. Chiral was much faster this time. That's what the weird thing about this game. Sometimes he will try and ring the gong straight away. Sometimes he would do it like after, toying with me. That sucks. Hardly ever hit him. Did zero, well, near enough zero damage. That's why it's so important to actually be quite close to him when you do use a TK aim. But sometimes it's difficult because the camera is so awkward. I mean, I really respect what Crystal Dynamics tried to do when they developed the camera for Defiance, but by trying to replicate what Capcom did with Devil May Cry, they made it far more awkward. There it is. Literally hit the side of the gong and it wasn't enough to actually make it resonate. There we go. Ugh. Perforate Carcass is such a good move, but when Tyrell regains consciousness, it just makes it ineffective. Okay, that's good. Makes my life a lot easier. Go, job done. Let's get rid of that. You don't realize how much talking is going on until you actually start quitting all these cinematics. It's just a lot of material to go through. I mean, obviously, since it's a story-based game, that kind of makes sense. But it's just there's a lot of talking, and that can slow things down tremendously. Calm down, Razio. What are you on? That's a first. I mean, this battle is just meant as a kind of an aggressive fight. It's not meant to be any kind of stylistic which is kind of disappointing because this is supposed to be fun, but it's really not. It's a chore. You can't enjoy it. And it's such a fundamental part of the storyline, but you know. See, even the damage, when you look at the actual life bar, it doesn't take off very much. but he's really cooking me. Raziel, the little remnants of him left. Oh, come on. The thing about this as well, just generally with the game, is that you cannot charge up your Reaver bar if you're using TK. Used it all up. Yeah, it's not enough. Come on, roll, Raziel, roll. Raziel, what are you doing, son? How is he getting attacked and performing a rage attack at the same time? It's like, what the hell? Come on, Raziel. Just 1 or 2 hits left. I can't see him, which makes it so much harder. There we go. Goodbye. Alrighty, now, I'm not standing anywhere near the checkpoint, right? Save game. Create a new save, bearing in mind that this is 7 hours and 26 seconds. Continue. Now, regardless of whether we load the save game or load the checkpoint, the Heart of Darkness will be present. So right now we're loading the checkpoint. Heart of Darkness is present.
Heart.
Now, let's quit the game. Let's load the game. So we're loading 7:04:37. Still have Heart of Darkness. So it seems that when you create a save, that preserves it into the actual save data. Now I don't know why, but that's definitely a bug. So that concludes our bug correction video. Apologies for having not tested this fully, but when you investigate something, sometimes it can take a long time. When I used to work in the games industry many moons ago, you find that testing a bug over and over and over can take time, because you need to be able to let the developers know using the app that you're using. At the time, we were using something called Test Track Pro, from what I remember, and you would record your bugs accordingly, how to reproduce it, blah blah blah. And if there was an error or a correction, then you had to make changes. But sometimes one bug can require I don't know, maybe a 2-hour investigation, because it's not something that can be understood until you understand the complete beginning, middle and end. Because when you look at something, you can say, oh, this is the issue, and then you realize that, you know what, it's correlational, but it's not actually what's going on. It's more representational. So hopefully this gives you an idea that it's creating the save that actually allows you to restore with a working game. So one thing I've done is, on the PC you've got an autosave, and then you've got an actual save data. They're not the same, and you cannot interchangeably use them. I've tried. When you try and you go to load game, for example, your save ends up here somewhere, and so it actually looks weird. It's not down here. It's up here. So yeah, it doesn't like it. And on top of that, it doesn't actually show. It shows your other save data, not the one that you renamed. I think there is a 1 or 2 kilobyte difference between the two. And I've inspected it using a hex editor, and it's not particularly obvious what it does. I imagine it's putting various information there, location data, runes that you've obtained, health upgrades, telekinetic upgrades, all that kind of information. One thing that's also worth noting, right, is the battle with Chirel is chapter 10. The battle with, I think it's with Kain versus Raziel is chapter 11, and then when it's Raziel versus Kain, that's chapter 12. So that's quite interesting. I believe, and I'm not 100% sure on this, when you go into Vorador's mansion, I'm not sure if that's chapter 13 or not. I haven't actually checked, but then again, I haven't tried to save either. Generally speaking, I don't save, only because the checkpoints load the last bits of data that you last arrived at. So if you finish at Vorador's mansion where there is a checkpoint, you quit the game, you don't need to save, because the auto save .dat will load the last thing that you did. If on the other hand, let's say I load, chapter 12, and then I quit the game and then load the game again, it will the autosave .dat will load chapter 12's autosave, if that makes sense, because it's the last thing I loaded. Whereas if I did it with chapter 10, then chapter 10 would be the last thing that loaded. So you need to be careful with that as well. That's why I always back up the files, and that's why I'm always playing with the files. Anyway, thanks a lot for staying with me. I appreciate the fact that whilst mistakes have do get made, I wanted to make sure that this correction came out so that you guys got a thorough understanding of kind of where I went wrong, and my obsessive compulsive need to be as accurate as possible on this to make sure that you guys are aware. Hopefully, Crystal Dynamics might take a look at this. I doubt they will correct it, but they may even be aware of it already. They just thought, okay, well, based on the deadlines, and that does happen, they have a financial target, and when a date is finalized, usually that the date doesn't change, especially if it's a launch title. So if you've got a launch console, for example, and the title goes with it, as long as it's in a playable condition and it's not beyond obvious flaws, the game has to launch. They calculate something like a 30% loss if the game doesn't get released with the console. So vendors make every possible concession to ensure that the game gets launched with the console. Anyway, thanks again for sticking with me. Have a great Boxing Day. Have a great Christmas and New Year. See you guys next time, and have a good one. Cheers. Take care. Bye bye.